Yeah, I could see Dune Messiah being the lowest point in the series, and if it is, that's amazing. When I was in middle school, I read a book that no one has ever heard of called Dune. I read Dune. I really struggled. I didn't enjoy a lot of it, even though I was captivated. You know what got me through reading Dune the first time when I was in 8th grade was the Dune trailer, the original Dune trailer from the 80s with the music, bum, 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 bum. That's good music. I would love it if they get that theme into the new Dune. The original Dune, I genuinely, truly want to do a reread of, especially before 2020 Dune comes out. Should we even call it 2020 Dune? We should really call it the 2021 Dune. Let's be real, Warner Brothers. Several months ago, I felt some kind of need to, for whatever reason, read the sequel to Dune. I always wanted to. I just never expected I would one day, and then one day I did. That's how life works, I guess. You never think you're going to do something, and then one day you do. I really love Dune Messiah. Dune Messiah. It's a pretty fast read, honestly, especially compared to the original Dune. It's quite short. I've heard people describe it as the transition book between Dune and Children of Dune. It definitely made me want to read Children of Dune, like right away. I'm going to read the rest of the series. I gotta get to God Emperor of Dune. God Emperor of Dune is the best Dune book according to Quinn's Ideas, and he knows his shit. If he says God Emperor of Dune is the best Dune book, I believe him. Dune Messiah takes place quite some time after the original Dune. We learn that there's been a situation going on. I don't want to really spoil Dune for anybody, but let's just say that what was set forth in the original Dune the end of Dune was kind of like a false happy ending in a sense, and Dune Messiah is like all of the realistic messy parts that happened afterwards. The political consequences of everything. You see also the major consequences of Paul's prescience, I think that's what it's called, his vision, his ability to see the future and know what's to come. This book is really contained and isolated, and when you really look at it from just a plot perspective, it doesn't seem like much happens. There's a lot of conversations in big rooms. For some reason, I got like flashbacks to the Star Wars prequels, not because Dune Messiah is bad, but because I felt like the prequels took some kind of that stately, kind of mannered way of talking in the way that characters of Dune speak. That doesn't mean that Frank Herbert is bad at writing dialogue. It's just different. Admittedly, there are some cheesy lines, sort of like in the prequel movies, flashbacks, and that's one of the downsides to Dune Messiah is it feels almost like a chamber piece. I don't even know what that word means. It just sounds smart. But it feels very contained, and it feels almost like the first half of a book, which makes me want to read Children of Dune, but not necessarily for the right reasons, just because I feel slightly unsatisfied. The ending is, wow, it's very shocking. Tragic? Can I say tragic? It's very shocking and moving, but again, it feels like the first half of a book. I'm really glad that I read Dune Messiah, though. It reminded me that Frank Herbert is a good writer. I've read a lot of hate about his writing style. He's not some kind of like prose stylist. He's no Faulkner. He's no Toni Morrison or anything. He's writing in a way that is clear and fits the purposes of his story. The omniscient view, being able to see everyone's thoughts and motivations, makes it feel very unique. In some ways, I wonder if it was like a third-person limited perspective. I wonder how differently the information would even be conveyed, because you're able to see this massive world because of the way Frank Herbert writes. That's unique to Dune. I wouldn't want to change that for something that's more pretty or flowery or more traditional. I like that weirdness, and that's what gives Dune its unique quality. For something that's such a classic as Dune and the sequels, why would we want to change the way he wrote these books? Because he wrote them how he wanted to write them. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't read a ton of books in this style all the time. It's unlike anything else, and I think that's what helped give it this kind of cult following and this very loyal fan base, it stands out as different. The concept, the ideas, the execution. I thought that reading Dune Messiah would feel like a slog or a chore, but I'm really happy I read it. A lot of people think that Dune Messiah is the lowest point in the series. The original 6 books written by Frank Herbert, I mean. I could see that. I haven't read the other ones. I would put Dune above Dune Messiah just because it feels more full with a story, whereas Dune Messiah feels almost like an extended novella. Yeah, I could see Dune Messiah being the lowest point in the series, and if it is, that's amazing. I hate it when series just kind of like go steadily downhill because it doesn't give you any incentive to read more. I love it when, not when the first book is like the weakest, but the second book being the weakest. I'm totally cool with that because I know that there's other books to get to, and honestly, like, it didn't feel like a weak point in most series. Like it felt like an important stepping stone in the story Frank Herbert was telling. I see why it bothered a lot of people who loved the original Dune, because it really flips the preconceptions about what Dune is on its head and said to the readers, no, this is my story. Okay, get your own story. Listen here, you youngsters. I imagine Frank Herbert saying that. I don't have much more to say about Dune Messiah. I thought it was really good. Sometimes it's hard to get into the characters' heads. They are going through literally experiences no one really knows, like the ability to see the future. If I were to give it a rating, I would give it like a 15. Yeah, I think 15 is a good rating. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a return viewer, hi. I guess. Like and subscribe. It's free, apparently. That's what they're telling me. I'm posting videos once a week. I am a consistent part of your life now. Every week, a video. Boom, boom. Isn't that exciting? I mean, who else does that? Who else? That's a new idea.